2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid versus EcoBoost. Which version should you buy, or should you buy a different truck instead? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Help Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. It's no secret that large, expensive pickup trucks dominate the North American market. If you're looking for a full-size truck with tons of performance, towing capability, and luxury, there's really no shortage of choice in North America. But if you're looking for the total opposite, a truck that's small, simple, and affordably priced, well, that was pretty much non-existent until Ford introduced the 2022 Maverick. The Maverick doesn't just stand out because of its unique size and price point. It's available with either a hybrid or 4-cylinder EcoBoost drivetrain, which is a pretty unique choice for a truck. The question though is, which is the best option to go with? And is the Maverick a good truck even worth considering over competitors like, say, the Hyundai Santa Cruz, the Honda Ridgeline, or even the Toyota Tacoma or Nissan Frontier? Well, make sure to stick around until the end of the video because that's what we're going to find out. The first thing that really stands out about the Maverick is just how small it really is. It really takes you by surprise the first time you see one on the road because it's a significant difference when compared to pretty much any other truck on the market. What's also pretty noticeable is how untruck-like it feels to drive on the road. It really feels a lot more like driving a small crossover SUV, which makes a lot of sense because the Maverick is a unibody construction truck with independent suspension, just like the Ford Escape or Ford Bronco Sport. Because of that, it's just as easy and comfortable to drive as a small crossover SUV. And because of its small size and amazing outward visibility thanks to those large windows, it's also very easy to park and maneuver too. Compared to the body-on-frame trucks like the Ford Ranger, Toyota Tacoma, or Nissan Frontier, this is way more comfortable to drive. And if you're someone who lives in a city with crowded streets and tight parking, the Maverick is going to feel like an absolute dream. In terms of its ease of use and user-friendliness on the road, I really don't think any other truck can match it. Now, just like the other unibody trucks, the Hyundai Santa Cruz and the Honda Ridgeline, you can only get the Maverick in one configuration, a 4-door crew cab with a 4.5-foot box. Now that might sound a little bit small when compared to other trucks, but it's still pretty handy, and Ford came up with a few neat solutions to help make it a little bit more practical than it seems. For example, even though the wheel wells intrude into the bed, there's little dents where you can put 2x4s so that you can still lay 4x8 sheets of plywood perfectly flat. With that one hack alone, the Maverick can hold 18 sheets of 3/4-inch plywood, which is pretty impressive. You also get plenty of useful touches like a 12-volt socket and a 110-volt outlet, as well as a rail cleat system to tie down all your stuff. And even though the bed is only 4.5 feet, smaller than any other truck aside from the Santa Cruz, it does have a payload capacity of up to 1,500 pounds, which is pretty impressive for a small truck. And you get that 1,500 pounds of payload regardless of whether you go with the hybrid or the 4-cylinder EcoBoost, which is pretty good too. So as far as the drivetrains go, let's start things off with the hybrid, which is the more unique option between the two. The hybrid consists of a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine with an electric motor producing 191 horsepower and 155 pound-feet of torque. It comes with a continuously variable CVT transmission and front-wheel drive, with no all-wheel drive available as an option. Now that might not sound like a lot of power when compared to most other trucks, but because the Maverick is small and pretty lightweight at only around 3,700 pounds, it's actually more than enough. And of course, because it's a hybrid, you get amazing fuel economy, anywhere from 33 to 42 miles per gallon or around 6 to 8 liters per 100 kilometers, which is phenomenal for a truck. I mean, that's better fuel economy than you get with a lot of compact cars, which is pretty amazing. The only real drawback to the hybrid is that it only comes in front-wheel drive and it can only tow up to 2,000 pounds, which is not necessarily a big deal depending on what you're looking for. A 2,000 pound towing capacity is comparable to a lot of small SUVs, which is still enough to tow something like a pair of jet skis, probably enough for a lot of buyers. Now, if you are looking for a little more performance and capability than what the hybrid offers, you can go for the optional turbocharged 4-cylinder EcoBoost engine. The 2-liter turbo produces 250 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque and comes matched to an 8-speed automatic transmission with standard front-wheel drive. With all of that extra power, the EcoBoost is definitely pretty quick, able to hit highway speeds in around 6 seconds. More importantly than the extra power though, the EcoBoost unlocks the option of all-wheel drive, which is a very important feature for a lot of buyers. Now oddly, even though you do get a lot of extra power, the EcoBoost has the exact same payload and towing capacity as the hybrid. You can, however, increase the towing capacity from 2,000 to 4,000 pounds if you go for the optional all-wheel drive and the tow package. Now, if I were buying a Maverick EcoBoost, I would definitely be ticking both of those options because aside from the all-wheel drive and the added towing capacity, I really don't see much reason to go for this engine. Not only does it add to the price, but it also has worse fuel economy, between 22 and 29 miles per gallon, or around 9 to 12 liters per 100 kilometers, which is not bad for a truck, but nowhere near as good as what you can get with the hybrid. Regardless of which drivetrain you go with though, the Maverick is a great driving truck. It also has a pretty impressive interior too. The interior is definitely on the more basic utilitarian side with plenty of hard plastics everywhere, but Ford disguises it very well with plenty of colors and interesting textures and materials that make it feel a lot more upscale than it really is. It's a very well designed space and all of the controls are very straightforward and easy to figure out. All trim levels come with an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system with Ford's Sync user interface and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. On top of having a great control setup, there's also plenty of storage areas all around this interior, including a great storage area underneath the rear seats. The seats are also very comfortable and there's plenty of space in here, even in the back. Even though it is a smaller truck, the Maverick feels just as spacious as a lot of mid-sized trucks, including the Ranger, Tacoma, and Frontier. For me, the only downside to this interior is the lack of standard features that you get on the lower trim levels. For example, even though the base Maverick includes the 8-inch touchscreen with a backup camera and automatic emergency braking, you have to spend extra if you want features like cruise control or any additional active safety features like blind spot monitoring or lane departure warning. On the other hand, some buyers might appreciate the lack of features and simplicity on the lower trims of the Maverick, and they'll probably also appreciate the pricing too. Pricing for the Maverick ranges from just over $20,000 to just over $30,000 US, or between $28,000 and $40,000 Canadian. That is significantly cheaper than any other truck on the North American market. The Maverick undercuts the Hyundai Santa Cruz by around $5,000, and the cheapest versions of the Tacoma and Frontier by almost $10,000. And if you like the Honda Ridgeline, well, you're going to have to spend at least another $15,000 for one of those. So there's no question that the Maverick is an amazing value for a truck, and that aggressive pricing alone solidifies its appeal. So the question then becomes, which version do you go for, the hybrid or the EcoBoost? Well, in my mind, the short answer is the hybrid. Not only is the hybrid less expensive, saving you money, but it's also a lot more fuel efficient, so it's going to save you a lot of money in gas over the long term too. And because it has the same payload capacity and base towing capability as the EcoBoost, you're really not missing out on much in terms of capability either. And another major benefit that I see with the hybrid over the EcoBoost is that I predict it'll do better in terms of long-term reliability too. The reason I predict it'll be more reliable is because the hybrid uses a simple, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, as opposed to a more complicated turbocharged engine, which generally tend to be more problematic long-term. Ford also has some history of issues with its 4-cylinder EcoBoost engines, unlike its hybrid systems used in the Ford Escape and Ford Fusion, which have been around for a very long time and have proven to be very reliable. As long as you can get around the fact that there's no all-wheel drive, the hybrid seems to be an absolute no-brainer. The only problem really is that buyers seem to really agree with me because the hybrid has proven to be so popular that at the time of this recording, it was already completely sold out for the entire 2022 model year. So if you want to order the hybrid, you're going to have to wait until later in the year when Ford reopens the order books for the 2023 model. If you have the ability to wait though, I really do think that it's worth it because the fact that you can pick up a small yet very practical truck that's hybrid powered in the $20,000 range is pretty incredible. If you're looking for a more traditional truck that offers a lot more space and capability, there's definitely much better options out there for you, including the Toyota Tacoma, Nissan Frontier, and Honda Ridgeline. All three of these trucks offer more towing capability, larger beds, and have great reputations for long-term reliability and high resale value too. So if you're looking for a more traditional truck, then any one of them would be a great alternative. But the Maverick is really something else entirely. Its smaller size, more affordable running costs, and affordable price tag make it a really unique and attractive option in the truck market. I really do see the appeal, and I can see a lot of traditional truck buyers, especially those who miss or used to own a really small truck from way back, really being drawn to the Maverick. Well, to find out how the Maverick stacks up against other trucks on the market, make sure to subscribe so you can check out my upcoming video on the top 5 trucks that you can buy. In the meantime, let me know what you think of the 2022 Ford Maverick. Would you buy one over other trucks, or would you buy something else instead? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also take a look at some of my other car videos by checking out these links over here. Make sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. And if you need additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to check out carhelpcanada.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.